Hi everyone, Harry from MechBoards here, and today I'm going to show you how to build your own custom Lily58 keyboard. Before we get started, we've got two build guides today. The first for the Lily58 solder kit, which will require a soldering iron, and the second for the new Lily58 ready to go. It comes pre-soldered and all you need is a screwdriver. There's a timestamp in the description below if you want to skip to the ready to go guide. You can buy both of these kits on our website, or if you'd rather skip assembly altogether, you can find some pre-builds and we offer an assembly service too. This isn't a how to solder guide, we'll just be going over the assembly of the kits, but we'll leave some pointers in the description below. So let's get started. So if you've gotten your kit from MechBoards, this is everything that's included. You've got your PCB, switch plates, your acrylic back plates, screws and standoffs, rubber feet, diodes, hot swap sockets, underglow LEDs, perky LEDs, OLED screens, OLED sockets, acrylic OLED covers, resistors, Zener diodes, reset switches, TRRS jacks, TRRS cable, RP2040 controllers, machine pins, and your controller sockets. And all the parts you'll need that aren't in the kit are keycaps and switches. The tools you'll need to complete this kit are lead-free solder, soldering iron, tweezers, flush cutters, and a screwdriver. And here's some things that are optional but we recommend. A solder sucker, just in case you make any mistakes, safety glasses, an extractor fan to deal with the fumes, and a heat-proof mat. So first off, we're going to add a bit of solder to one side of each diode position. So now that those pads are tinned, we can get our diodes. I like to orientate my PCB this way. You want the line on the diode to be facing the way that the arrow is pointing on the PCB. So now we're just going to heat the solder we've placed, insert a diode leg into the solder, let it harden and let go. Now that the diodes are on, we can just solder the other legs in place. The first LEDs we're going to be putting on are the underglow ones. They're the ones that you have less of, the ones that are slightly bigger. The LEDs are a bit heat sensitive, so it's worth turning your soldering iron down to about 300 degrees here, just to keep them safe. Just like the diodes, we're going to start off by tinning one of the pads on each of the LED positions. And the orientation for the LEDs is making sure that the notch in the corner matches the thicker corner on the PCB. Now that they're on, we can solder the rest of the pads. And now we're going to repeat the same process for the perky LEDs. The orientation for the LEDs is as simple as seeing the cutout on one of the legs and lining it up with the marking on the PCB. Now we'll just solder the rest of the LED legs. So now we're going to be putting on the hot swap sockets. We're just going to be placing them into their positions and then soldering them one side at a time. Now they're in place, we can solder them one side at a time. It's worth noting you can also turn your soldering iron back up to 400 degrees if you'd like. Next up, we're going to install the controller sockets into our PCB through the top side, just like this. And we're going to hold them steady and flip the PCB, making sure to keep them in their positions. And we're just going to start off by soldering the top and bottom pin of each strip just to hold it in place. Once they're secured, we're going to try and adjust them to get them nice and straight and flush to the PCB. And you want to just heat a pin and apply pressure, and once you've done that to each side, you can check that it's flush and roughly straight, and then repeat this for all 4 strips. When you're happy with your controller sockets, you can go ahead and solder the rest of the pins. Next, we can insert our Mil-Max pins. I like to do it one at a time, inserting into the socket with some tweezers, and then using something like the back of the tweezers to press down, wiggle if needed, and it should just insert into the socket. Just before installing the controllers, it might be worth trying to flash them, just to check you haven't got an unlucky dead controller or anything. If you do run into any issues, you can let us know. We'll leave a flashing guide in the description below. Once you've checked your controllers, you can pop them onto the pins, making sure that you leave the top 2 holes empty. It's worth trying not to solder them for too long here, as solder can travel down the pin and flood the socket. Now that we've put on the controllers, we can move on to the OLED sockets. We're going to insert them into the 4 pin holes below the controller, turn over the PCB, trying to hold them in place. Solder 1 pin on each side. Readjust as we need, and solder the other pins when we're done. Now you can insert the OLEDs as is, but there will be a bit of a higher profile due to a gap here. To get rid of it, if you'd like to, you just have to snip the pins down on the OLED by a little bit, maybe a quarter of the length. It's around about now where we'd recommend wearing some protective goggles, just to make sure that you don't get any wry pieces of pin in your eye. After they've been snipped, they should fit in nice and flush. Also, you can peel off the little protectors. Now we're going to solder on the Zener diode and resistor. These go on the back of the PCB where the controller is, and we're going to install these the same way we installed the diodes earlier, just soldering one pan, inserting it with our tweezers, and then soldering the other side. The Zener diode follows the same markings as the regular diodes, in that you want the line facing the line on the PCB, and then for the resistors, the orientation doesn't matter. And now for the final bits of soldering, we've just got the TRS jacks and the reset switches. We're just going to insert them into their positions on the PCB. They both should get enough friction to hold themselves in place, so it should be a bit easier than any of the other sockets. And we'll just solder all the pins on the back. And there you have it. You can turn off your soldering iron. Now that all the soldering's done, it could be worth checking your build. So just plugging it in to a PC, checking all the LEDs work, and then testing individual hot swap sockets by bridging them with tweezers, just like this. The most common issues we come across with soldering is that a diode or an LED's orientation is in the wrong side. So if you're having any trouble, make sure to check that first. And if you run into any issues, you can always get in contact with us with the contact form in the description below. To install the case, we're going to start off with our acrylic back plates. It comes with some protective film on both sides. So we can just peel that off for the most satisfying part of the build. We're going to install the shorter standoffs with the longer screws. Next, we can install the longer standoffs with the shorter screws. These will be for the acrylic OLED covers later on. It's just a good idea to install these now rather than later. They're going to be a little bit awkward to get to once the switch plate is on. Now, moving on to the switch plate, we can grab a handful of switches and just insert a few into the plate. I like to do one in each corner and a couple in the middle. Once they're inserted, it's worth just checking that none of the pins on your switches are bent. And if they are, you can just get them back into line with some tweezers. Now, we'll just place the switches on top of the PCB, making sure the pins are aligned with the hot swap sockets, and gently but firmly squeeze them into the sockets. Once you've got the plate on, you can then go ahead and insert the rest of these switches. Again, just making sure to keep the pins in line with those hot swap sockets. If you do bend a pin, this should be easy enough just to remove it, and again straighten it with some tweezers or your finger if you're careful. Now the switches are in, we can get our acrylic back plates again and just place them underneath everything else. And we'll just be installing these with the smaller screws. Now we can install our acrylic OLED covers. Again, these will have a protective layer on both sides for us to peel off. You will see that there's one side of the acrylic covers that has a slightly thicker border. You want the thinner border to be closest to the switches, as it can interfere with the keycaps a little bit. And we're going to install these with the longer screws. Just be careful not to tighten them too much, as the acrylic is fragile and can snap quite easily. Now all that's left to do is install our keycaps and our rubber feet. Installing your keycaps is as simple as just pressing them firmly onto the switches. Now we're going to install the feet. This is really up to personal preference, but this is how we like to do it. And that's how to build a Lily58 solder kit. Now we'll move on to the ready to go. In your Lily58 ready to go kit, you should have a set of PCBs, your 3D printed case, acrylic backplates, 2 screens, screws and feet, 3D printed spacers and frames, and a USB C to C cable. And all you need that isn't included in the kit is switches and keycaps. As for tools, all you'll need is a Phillips head screwdriver. Our first step is installing the PCB into the case. We're going to start off by turning our case over. We're going to place our screen spacers into the case here. You want the little notch to be facing the inside on the bottom. And then we can grab our PCBs. And we want to go port side first into the gaps, making sure they're in, and then pressing down on the PCB. This might be a bit stiff, but you just want to give it some firm pressure. Once the PCB is installed, we can insert the screens. You want to have them in this orientation with everything upside down and the ribbon cables facing away from you. Now, keeping this orientation, you want to insert the ribbon cable through the gap in the spacer and the PCB. Once you've got the ribbon cable through, you can lift up the latch on the connector labelled Vic out. And then insert the ribbon cable into the connector. You'll know it's fully inserted if you put the latch down and you can't see any of the blue part of the ribbon cable. After that, we can screw through the holes on the back of the PCB, through the spacer, and into the standoffs on the screen module. Finally, we can install our screen frames by placing the fin side over the top of the module and then pressing the PCB together with the bottom side. And it should just clip on like that. And then same again, fin side over the top, pulling it towards you and pressing the PCB and the frame together. Next up, we can install the switches. You just want to make sure that the pins are aligned with the hot swap sockets, and then holding the back of the PCB, just firmly squeeze it in. You can also check that the switch is inserted properly by looking on the back of the PCB, and you should be able to see the pins inside of the hot swap socket. When all the switches are installed, feel free to test them using Vial. We'll leave a link in the description below. Now we can remove the protective layer from our acrylic backplates. And then it's as simple as screwing them onto the back of the PCBs with your screws. All that's left for the case is to install your feet. The locations don't matter too much, but this is what we tend to go for. All that's left to do is install our keycaps. And we're just pressing the keycaps onto the switches. And there you have it. When you're connecting your two halves, you want to make sure you're using the ports highlighted by the two notches on the case. And you can plug either side into your PC. So there you have it. You should have a fully built, either solder or ready to go Lily58. Just to reiterate, if you run into any problems, there is a contact form in the description below. Feel free to get in contact and we'll help as much as we can with troubleshooting. And now we'll leave you with a couple of typing tests.